I've driven the Nissan Livina for a few days prior to its launch here in the Philippines, and in this video, I will share with you my initial driving impressions of the second generation Nissan Livina. Let's do this! It's an open secret that the second generation Nissan Livina is essentially a clone of the pre-facelifted Mitsubishi Xpander, so it should drive exactly like the Xpander, right? Yeah, not really. You see, I was also quite surprised with that because I expected that the Livina will drive exactly like the Xpander. Now, to tell you more about this, let's go for a drive. While there are some similarities between the two vehicles, well, it seems that Nissan has tuned the Livina a little bit differently from its Mitsubishi cousin to give it its own unique personality. Now, I had to rewatch my Mitsubishi Xpander GLS review video just to be sure, and true enough, there are some tiny differences in the driving character of the two vehicles. Now, the first thing that you'll notice here is the steering feel. You see, the Nissan Livina has a lighter steering feel than its Mitsubishi cousin. Now, that means that it's easier to maneuver around the city, around town, but I was pleasantly surprised, guys, that when you take it out on the highway like where we are now, the steering feel gains a little bit of heft. Now, that, my friends, is how you tune your steering feel, because that means that you get some more control while you're running at highway speeds, but it's light enough to be easy to drive around when you're just in town. You see, Nissan has always been one of those car companies who has perfected the way they tune their steering, and the same can be said about this Nissan Livina. You see, I'm going now at 100. And yes, the steering is still light, but it gained a tad bit more heft. And I love that. I love that about the Nissan Livina. Another plus point for the Nissan Livina is the brake pedal feel. You see, one of my complaints about the Xpander was how the brake pedal felt stiff. It felt like I was stepping on a piece of cardboard, but I'm not feeling that here in this Livina. In fact, the brake pedal feel is well modulated. It's a perfect balance. It's perfect, in fact, and I love it. You know, this is a bit of a surprise for me as well, because I kind of expected that the brake pedal feel will be similar to the one found in the Xpander, but it turns out that the Nissan Livina has a much better brake pedal feel. However, guys, one area where the Livina takes a step back is the acceleration. You see, it doesn't feel as meaty as the acceleration I experienced with the Xpander GLS. I'm gonna give you a little demonstration here. Accelerate a little bit. You see, it doesn't do that. Now, it kind of feels like I'm piloting a vehicle with a CVT. Now, I'm not really sure if this is still the 4-speed automatic though, because this is the first look, guys. This is a first drive. I really don't have the spec sheet with me. But if this is the 4-speed automatic, well, Nissan tuned the acceleration, the throttle inputs here, to be a bit more towards the fuel efficiency side, well, at the expense of outright acceleration. Now, here's the thing. The good news there, though, is the Nissan Livina is a little bit more fuel efficient than the Mitsubishi Xpander. You see, I was able to get like 11.5 kilometers per liter in the city, versus like something like 10.7 kilometers per liter for the Xpander in the city. And on the highway, I was able to get 20 kilometers per liter. Now that, my friends, makes the Nissan Livina one of the most fuel-efficient MPVs in the segment today. Now here's the thing, this launch unit here doesn't even have 100 kilometers. Well, I just crossed 100 kilometers on the clock right now. So as this engine breaks in, it's going to be even more fuel efficient than ever. So yes, the acceleration might not be as meaty as the Xpander, but it gains more in terms of fuel efficiency. And I do believe that for most people who will be driving the Nissan Livina, fuel efficiency makes a hell of a lot more sense than outright acceleration. Now, I'm not saying that this is a slouch when it comes to, like overtaking maneuvers and stuff like that. It just doesn't have that immediate bite, that immediate grunt that I experience with the Xpander. But once the car detects that you really wanna put the goods down, you wanna put the hammer down, then it will go. It will just zip up and go. So yeah, it's no slouch, guys. Don't get me wrong, it's no slouch. But it really makes for a more relaxed drive than its cousin. As for the NVH, well, the Nissan Livina's NVH on the highway is pretty much identical to the NVH of the Mitsubishi Xpander. So that only means that at highway speeds, we're going at 90 right now, guys. There's a little bit of wind noise going into the cabin. Yeah, it's there. You could hear it. But if you're below 60 kilometers per hour, just going around town, then it's quiet. Yeah, so it's the same experience that I've had with the Xpander. As for the suspension comfort of the Nissan Livina, well, guys, it's comfortable. Even if I'm just one person right now and I'm on an uneven cemented highway here, it's not that bouncy. It is not as smooth though as, let's say, a crossover, or a sedan, but it's decent enough. It's decent enough. It's much better than, let's say, a pickup truck or a pickup-based SUV. And I'm pretty sure that if you load this Livina up with more passengers, more people inside, it's going to feel a little bit more composed. While I still don't have the actual price of the Nissan Livina when I made this video, I'm pretty sure that it's appearing on your screen right about now. Now, I'm hoping that that price is on the affordable side because that will be a huge advantage for the Nissan Livina. You see, it may not have the bells and whistles that can be found in newer MPVs in its category, but it still delivers a solid and dependable drive, and it's also one of the most fuel-efficient MPVs in the category. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who will appreciate that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching.